this is Cameron, and welcome to the practice log. Alright, well, we got a lot of stuff to do today, so let's go ahead and jump into it, shall we? Ooh, sorry about that. What's on the docket? We have the Bach, of course. I'm probably going to focus mainly on the Bach today. I need to do some stuff with the Adagio. I have been kind of neglecting it a bit. I've put a lot of effort into the fugue. I'm actually pretty happy with where the fugue is coming along. Presto, who even knows? I'm going to be honest with you guys. I've been sort of... how can I say this? I've been doing the bare minimum. I'm kind of just taking it easy for a little bit. I'm skipping a lot of practice sessions. I'm like hanging out with friends more. I like have more of a social life right now, which is good because I've been like a hermit for the past like 9 months where I basically didn't go out at all. And I was kind of going through a breakup when I started this thing too. I spent a lot of time alone here. So it's kind of nice to step back and just like be social again. Maybe there's going to be morning sessions in a row. I'm still practicing a lot. Anyways, I don't even really need to talk about this. The plan for today, I'm going to practice, of course. I'm actually up pretty early. It's 8 o'clock right now. And I actually have a question that I want to get into. So I was sent a DM on Instagram. Somebody slid into my DMs. And I encourage you all to do that if you want. This is a question from Pablo. He's a fellow guitarist. I'm just gonna kind of get into your question and just try to answer it in detail. I think this could be something that a lot of you might want to hear as well, so I wanted to share it. But you said, hey man, I've been digging your stuff on YouTube for a while. Oh, he says that he plays jazz. That's why he's using the word digging. But yeah, pretty cool. Cool cat. And although I play little classical, I play mainly early jazz and other vintage styles of music. It's been really helpful. That's good. I'm glad. It's been helpful. I don't know if you'll see this message, but I feel like I can somehow trust you with this question. That's really funny that you say that. I will definitely see the message. I'm not as busy as you might think. I see everything. As I move into my mid-20s, I'm getting concerned about the whole idea of making a living with music. What are your thoughts on this? I don't know your situation, but superficially it seems to me like you're doing very well. Yeah, dude. Superficially, very well. I'll take it. Yeah, dude, things ain't too bad. Hey, and to everyone who like disrespects my apartment, I don't live in squalor. This is like a decent apartment. I live like downtown of my city area, and I have no roommates too, and I'm 26. I feel like all that together, that's like pretty ideal. Though the apartment is something that I splurge on, but I'm able to splurge on it. I don't splurge on a lot of things. Like I don't really eat out, and I don't really like do anything like that. So, you know, but I splurge on the apartment because I just can't live with other people. I have to live alone. Like I said, I'm like a hermit. I really don't want to deal with other people, and I just want to be alone. What are some of the ways that you've found to get there, and do you have any suggestions for someone at my stage? Well, at your stage, you said that you're moving into your mid-20s. Well, here's the good news. It seems that you play quite well. I don't know if you have a college degree. I didn't see anything about it, but maybe you do. I wouldn't be surprised if you did, because again, it seems like you play well. So that's great. So you already have that. You're young, you're going into your mid-20s, so I assume you're like 23. Time is on your side for a lot of things. You have a lot of it, hopefully. I'll just kind of walk through what the beginning of my adult life looked like. I mean, of course, first I got my undergrad, and I got out of there when I was like 22. Once I was a fresh graduate, I had zero prospects. I had absolutely no idea what I was going to do. I had a vague idea that it would probably involve teaching guitar at some point, because I'd already been teaching guitar for like a couple of years in school, just at like music stores and stuff, but I had no idea what it was going to look like. And this is also mid-pandemic too. So I was living at home for a couple of months. At this time, I also had a girlfriend who got a job in North Carolina, so we moved to North Carolina together, and that was sort of the plan that I was expecting. So I was basically like loser guitar boyfriend. She was working. We were basically bringing in like no money. The stimulus checks were the only reason why we like got by for a while. Yeah, man, my first job there, I started working at a warehouse, and I think I did that job for like 4 days before I quit without notice. I got kind of freaked out working there because I was talking to these people who had been working there for like 10 and 15 years, and I just like, oh my god, like I can't do this. So I just left. I must have made like $250 at that place before I quit. I had a few months of expenses saved up, and honestly that was just because of the stimulus checks, so I sort of had the confidence to find something else. But things were looking like not great. Basically what I was thinking was like, music's not gonna work. Like I need to get like a job that pays something. Like I need to be employed by someone, which that was a scary thought. If you know anything about me, I struggle with authority a lot. I can't work for anybody. I just can't. Like, I'm not built for it. When it comes to being told what to do, I can have a really bad attitude. It just doesn't work. I've thought about this too as like life plans. If I were more obedient, I probably would go to the military and just do like the Navy or something. Because the whole idea of like training sounds fun. Like, I don't want to go to war, of course. Also, the idea of being part of the military, I don't like. But the idea of like training and just like doing stuff sounds kind of fun. Things were looking pretty bleak, but I quit that, and then I soon after found a job at a doggy daycare. That one was better because it was just like taking care of dogs. There's less like authority. There was still some, but it was enough to where I could kind of deal with it. But man, everybody working there, like, so underpaid. I was making minimum wage doing that job. Like, I would work 8-hour days. It came out to like $50 a day was what I was making. And then you go like spend 20 of it fast food. It's just a horrible cycle. Oh yeah, and the time frame. This is all taking place within like 3 months or so. Yeah, so after that, I went to this music store. It was a local music store, and I just auditioned or whatever to be a guitar teacher. They let me in. This was during the pandemic too, so all their teachers were online at the time. I think I got like 2 or 3 students in total, but I got one student who I still have today, Barry. He's in one of my videos. So, you know, if you saw that one, that's Barry. He's my oldest student, I guess technically age-wise, but the length of time that we've been together. So yeah, he came from that music store back when I was just a loser guitarist. Not that I'm not a loser guitarist now. I am. I definitely am. All right, and then after that, that is when I found something that worked. That's really what life is. You just have to find stuff that works. And what I found that worked for me was online teaching. Now, how exactly do you do online teaching? Well, there are platforms, websites for tutoring, like usually like tutoring kids like 18 and below. And you can just make an ad and you just set a reasonable price if you're new. If the website advertises adequately, you'll get students. How do you find these websites? Just type in online tutoring. You'll get a list of them, and just make an account for like a couple of them and just open up your schedule and just see what happens. But that, especially for like how I operate and like my lifestyle, that was absolutely ideal. No boss, I'm in charge. I'm not like renting a room from anybody. I'm dealing with a company, but I never actually have to talk with anybody from the company, and they just take their cut, whatever it is, and that's it. I do all the work. That's perfect for me. Obviously, I'm doing okay because I seem to have a lot of free time to do random stuff like this. Though something like this is like a time investment. I can see this YouTube channel like sort of forming into something that will be a sort of career eventually. It'll at least supplement some income, and like has already in some way, though it's very small. Like the percentage of like a decent income this channel is making without teaching is probably like 2 or 3% of what it needs to be. It's also only like in the first year. So like 10 years from now, maybe we can get it closer to like 50, 60, 70%. We'll just see where we can get it. Wait, where was I going with that? Oh yeah. Honestly, like the most important thing right now is you need to make some money, because money is what's going to allow you to actually like pursue stuff that you want to do. Like I wouldn't be able to do this if I didn't have like money saved up and money to fall back on. Without that, I would just be freaking out about not having money, and then I would just take any work I could, which is not conducive to being creative. So you need to find a way to make money, and for me, the best way to make money is online teaching. And guitar is a super popular instrument, so we're lucky in that regard. If we played like, I don't know, euphonium or something, ooh, you better learn how to code, my friend. But we don't have to do that because we play guitar. It's a popular instrument, everybody wants to play it. So that's great. That makes it easier for us. Make accounts for those online tutoring platforms. See if you can get some students that way. And you know, I say this with practice too. It's not sustainable, of course, but if you practice 8 hours a day and do that for like a year, oh my God, like the progress you'll make. A lot of the practice will be junk practice, of course, but man, even like 7 hours of junk practice versus like 30 minutes of high quality practice. The 30 minutes is better time spent, but you can't beat the bulk that you get from just practicing 8 hours a day. It's kind of the same thing with working, man. If you find a good gig, like teaching is a good gig because you're making a pretty high hourly. If you can work like 30 or 40 hours a week, making like $60 an hour, and you can do that for like a year, with that, if you keep your expenses really low and keep them low even as you're making more money, you don't let the lifestyle inflation creep in, don't get the new car or anything, just save and invest. And investing is one of the keys to this, and I'll get to that. In a year of doing something like that, you could save like several years worth of expenses, and having that much money put aside will just give you the confidence to pursue anything that you want. Like a practice log, for example. I didn't invent the idea of a practice log, but I've never seen anything like what I was doing. So I had no actual proof that this thing would work, But because I wasn't worried about money, I had the confidence to just put like 35 hours a week into this thing that I was actually pretty sure nobody would ever watch in a million years. Having money just gives you the confidence to do stuff like that. To the degree that this thing has taken off too, I had absolutely no proof that that was even possible. And most people I told thought I was an idiot. So they were just like, you're stupid, like you're wasting your time. You're stupid. That's it. A couple of people were supportive, but most people I told, they were like, you're an idiot. Which is fine. I get. I felt like an idiot too. Like I was like, there's no way this could work. But here we are. It's sort of working, right? You're watching it. Boom. There we go. But yeah, and that brings me to another point too. How do you further your music career beyond teaching? Once you have some money, I would just start working on a project and just go all in and just do it. What I've learned is that there is nothing more valuable than time in something. People always respect time. That's the thing. For example, you can have a practice log or something, like just a video series. I feel that a lot of the credibility that I have on this platform is just the sheer amount of time that I've sunk into it and how clear it is that I've sunk so much time into it. Like we're on log 90 or something. That commitment shows like some sort of staying power that you can trust. So I mean, that would be my next suggestion. Find a project, try to just sink time into it and give it staying power in that way. Show that you're committed to this project. And even if it's like kind of a stupid bad project, if people see that you're committed to something and passionate, I feel like that's really what people care about. They just want to see passionate people. I'll watch like YouTube projects on like topics I'm just not interested in at all. The most interesting thing about it is the passion of the person making it. Find a project. It doesn't have to look like anything that I do. Just make something up. Like that's literally what I did. You just make something up and just pretend that it's real, and you'll make it real if you put enough time into it. And that can manifest in a lot of ways. Like that can be like gigging, like becoming a gigging musician, a web series, even your studio of students that you might gain after this. Start it now, and then in a few months it'll look like you have staying power because it's like this person's been doing it for a while. All right. And this brings me to another thing too. When you do start making money, I highly suggest that you start investing. I know investing at this stage in your life can seem kind of weird, but if I had not invested and if I had just saved the money that I had, I would have like 30% less money than I have now. And I probably would have been a little more frivolous with spending, because when money is in a savings account, it's so easy to just bring it over and you want a new thing and you just buy it. But once you put it in a brokerage account, especially a tax advantage brokerage account, if you're in your early 20s, highly recommend get a Roth IRA. Do that right now. Try to max it out every year. You're just so much less likely to pull from that money. It accumulates over the years. It really does. And you'll be in a situation in a couple of years of doing this where you're not really going to have any worries. Like if you really grind like on the teaching thing, or like find another way to make money, like let me know if you find something different. Teaching 80 students a week is a nightmare. But if you do that, put away as much money as you can, invest a lot of your money, you'll be shocked at how much you can accumulate in a couple of years. It's invested, of course, but it's there. Like it's your net worth. Like if something happens, like an emergency, you can still withdraw it. And for the Roth IRA, there's not even a penalty for withdrawing. You can just only put in a certain amount every year. And I recommend, because the Roth maximum is $6,000, get a SEP IRA after that. Start with the Roth. Do the SEP IRA next. SEP is like a 401k, but for self-employed people like you and I, probably. So that's where you can put more money after the 6,000. But the Roth is better. That one's going to be better for you. Not financial advice. Don't do anything I'm saying. Oh yeah, and what stocks do you invest in? Because that can be tricky too. You don't want it just sitting in your Roth just in cash. Index funds, S&P 500, total market index. I put 15% in world market just in case crap hits the fan. It's good to spread it out a little bit. And invest in a strong economy if you can. I think the U.S. economy is probably going to do all right. And in me saying that too, I'm kind of going off into like investing now. There is this parallel that I kind of feel with investing and like making a YouTube thing like this, where I'm always asked, especially by people my age, aren't you scared of losing all your money and investing? Then like all your money's gone, all the work that you did. Wouldn't you rather just keep it in a savings account? No, I'm not scared of losing all my money, because if I lose all my money, so did everybody else, and we're all in the same situation. And guess what? Things don't stay down forever. Just like things don't stay up forever. It's the same thing with like my YouTube channel. Like I go through bad months of my YouTube, and like people ask me like, oh, like how's the channel doing? It's like, oh, it's not great. It's like down. Oh, well, that's not good. And it's like, well, it's not going to be down forever. If you stay persistent, persistence for YouTube is obviously like keep making whatever you're making, or persistence in a project, keep making what you're making. Persistence in stocks, Don't freaking sell. Don't panic sell. Like, just keep it. Just forget about it. Just let it ride. It historically goes up. And the thing is, people who are consistent and do things, their things tend to work. Things usually fail when people give up. Like, if something fails and you don't give up, there's a chance that it'll keep going. So just don't give up. And that's like the biggest lesson that I've learned in my 20s. Just never give up and just be hard-headed about it. And just don't sell, don't give up, and you'll be fine. I think it's the people that jump ship. Those are the ones who kind of lose out. And like, of course, it's a balance. Like, you also need to know when to fold, when it's time to fold. But at least for like project stuff, I think you should give it like 2 years. And if nothing happens in like 2 years, that was a valiant effort. You found out that that project was not going to work. In my opinion, this thing has worked, and it's been less than a year, so I found a thing. I'm gonna go all in on this now for like 10 years, and because I think it could have potential to be something, which a lot of people might hear that and think like I'm stupid. Thought I was stupid when I was at like 10 subscribers too, so they can think I'm stupid when I'm at 1,500, and then at like 10,000 they'll be like, oh, well, that's as high as it can go. Well, we'll see. I'll just keep being persistent because it is going up, so that's promising. Yeah, that was kind of a side tangent, sorry. Save money, because without money you have to work at a warehouse or something. Not that there's anything wrong with a warehouse, but it's extremely hard to be creatively productive if you're spending a lot of time at a warehouse. It just doesn't mix well. And same thing with teaching. When I was teaching 80 students, I wasn't creating anything. I wasn't even learning music. I couldn't play any rep at the time except for like Villa-Lobos Preludes. So I had to go through like a 2-year period where I didn't make anything and I just saved money. That is the only reason why I can do what I'm doing now. That's why I can live in an apartment by myself. It's why I can not work like as much as I used to, which I'm not saving money anymore. I'm pretty much breaking even like every month, and like sometimes I'm losing a bit of money too. That's because I'm taking a risk right now. Like, I'm gambling on this thing that I'm doing now eventually sort of filling out that income that I lost. Has it done it yet? No, it's not even close. But I can sustain for a really long time, and I think like by the time I would actually run out of money, I think we'll be good, and the actual running out of money thing won't even really come close to happening. So that's what I'm betting on. That's what money does. It gives you the confidence to do stuff like that. That was sort of my experience of 22 to 26, and some stuff that I've learned in those 4 years. Obviously none of this is financial or life advice or anything, but this is a path that I took. You could try taking it and it might work for you. There might be some other path that you take that works even better. If you find one, I would love for you to tell me about it, because I want to know. Like, I know so little about how to do this thing. I've only taken one path, but you know, I think it's a pretty okay path. There are sacrifices, of course, and some of it sucks. And if you do it right, you can get a lot done. And in doing it right, like really what I mean by that is you have to put money away. Because those 2 years where I taught my butt off, if I didn't save and invest and I spent more money as I made it, it would just be so for nothing. So you have to save and invest. It's a requirement for this path. Yeah, so, you know, there's a lot to learn. At least with mine, like, I feel really optimistic about my 30s, because I feel that I'll be pretty well prepared for, like, making stuff happen then, just based on everything I've learned so far. I'm still very much learning how to figure all this stuff out, just life in general, and, like, how to be sustainable. But I'm young, and you're even younger, so you got a lot of time. And if you're like 23, if I'm right on that, to get to my age, 3 years, man, you can do a lot of stuff in 3 years. It's crazy what you can get done. That can be your grinding years, 23 to 26, and then be set up for the next 4 years to figure out how to make stuff happen. And then you have your entire 30s to make stuff happen with experience. And then your 40s too, and then 50s and whatever, and however far you want to go. However far you want to live is what I meant. I'll be done after my 40s, I think. That'll be the end for me. That's pretty much everything. If you have any questions, of course, feel free to leave them in the comment section. You can DM me too, and that goes for anybody else. Yeah, I think that pretty much covers everything. Alright, well, it's time for me to actually play guitar now. We'll see what I end up working on. I'll see you in the piano bench. Oh, back to the old grind. Yeah, hopefully that was helpful for you. Old Cameron with his life experience. I've been around the block a few times. I kind of know how stuff works. Not that well, but somewhat. More than I did when I was a teenager. Alright, well, I'm gonna get to it. I will see you on the other side. Okay, I think I'm ready to be done for today. For this morning. Wasn't a super long one, but yeah, let me bring you closer. Yeah, I also talked for a really long time. Like, I don't know how long that segment's gonna last, but I filmed that for 45 minutes. You know, I'm ready to kind of wrap this one up. I wanted to play the Adagio, but I think I'm gonna play the Presto for you because I worked on that more. One take. If I screw up, that's it. You know the deal. Ah, oh man, my fingers kept getting tripped up. I think maybe my A is too long or something, but for stuff that I can usually get through, kept getting tripped up for some reason. My fingers feel like a mess today. I don't know what the deal is. Was that any better than the last one? Oh, doesn't feel like it. But, you know, I said one take, I played. It's not always gonna be that great. There were some good moments in it, though. It wasn't, like, all bad. Okay, I have talked enough. I know that I'm, like, over-editing once I get to this point, so I'm gonna wrap it up for myself. I'll see you in the outro. Hey, well, if you made it this far, be sure to subscribe and leave a like. And hey, you want a t-shirt? Look at that, I didn't even mention it. But this is a shirt that I sell on my store, Rootin's Delight. Link is in the description for that. They're pretty dope, pretty high quality, nice fit, of course. What else we got? Oh, and of course, if you want guitar lessons, you can do that as well. emails in the description and some details about what I do, you know, all that. Comments. Oh yeah, comment questions. Of course, if you want to DM me, like the one that I answered today, you're welcome to do that. You can also just leave it in the comment section. If it's a thoughtful question, you might want to DM, just because sometimes comments can get kind of lost. So, you know, you're welcome to do that. I will see it. Don't worry about that. Yeah. Alright, well, pretty much everything. So, I'll see you tonight.